I yelled out, "Is anybody still with me? Is anybody alive?"
On September 17th, 6 officers were called to serve a warrant in North Codorus Township, York County. 3 of them were killed, 2 of them were critically injured.
And then there was the 6th officer who remembers that day, the ambush and the aftermath in heartbreaking detail, and who reached out to me, finally ready to tell his story. It is a story you'll see only on ABC 27.
My name is Detective Jack C. Asper II. I'm a detective with the Northern York County Regional Police Department, and I've been here for 25 years.
Jack Asper has always been a helper, a volunteer firefighter, an EMT, a paramedic.
It was a combination of just the excitement of being helpful and in charge of somebody's well-being.
And then a police officer, part of a team of detectives. September 17th, 2025.
So the day started like any other day.
That team was trying to find a stalking suspect that day, a man believed to be armed and dangerous.
We had learned that there was game camera footage of the suspect the night before that showed that he was wearing camouflage and had a rifle with him.
They went to the home of the suspect's former girlfriend to make sure it was safe for her to return.
The door cracked open, and that's when all hell broke loose.
How many gunshots did you hear?
There was so many gunshots in rapid succession that you couldn't count. I later found out that 30 rounds were shot in a matter of 25 seconds. 30. And as I was moving, I just had this feeling that I was going to get shot in the back.
Detective Asper found cover behind a tree and shot the suspect. He fired more than 14 times before the man finally went down.
He had a mission, and he was determined to fulfill whatever his mission was, whatever demons drove him to do that.
Asper then turned his attention to his team. He found Detective Sergeant Cody Becker first.
I yelled his name so loud that I felt something tear in my throat.
Detective Mark Baker, Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser, his team gone.
And then I heard somebody yell, "Jack." And I knew it was Zach.
Asper found Detective Zach Gray alive but badly injured. The former paramedic applied a tourniquet to one gunshot wound and pressure to another. He then worked to save Lieutenant David Godfrey of the York County Sheriff's Department.
I needed a tourniquet, and I didn't have one. I cut his belt off and pulled his belt off.
And then finally, help arrived.
And I'll never forget what he said next was, "Where's everybody?" And I said, "Meg, they're all dead."
After burying his team on a Thursday, Detective Asper went back to work the following Monday.
I took that Friday afterwards off, and I came back in on Monday.
That quickly?
Not necessarily. I wanted to be around people that understood.
And now, 7 months later, he wants everyone to understand what they went through that day. Talking about it, he says, finally feels healing.
And as much as I love to hear bagpipes, I really don't care if I ever hear them again.
You know, a lot of times we lose that human aspect in law enforcement.
Police Chief David Lash recently awarded Detective Asper the Medal of Valor.
We don't know how many lives he saved that day. We know for sure he saved 2 lives that day. But had he not been there, you know, that suspect could have still been there ambushing additional officers that were arriving, could have left the scene, could have went into the community and continued to create havoc.
Asper believes he was there for a reason that day, to do what he was trained to do, to be a helper, even on this most trying and tragic day.
To say that I saved lives, I give all the credit to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I may have been the instrument that manipulated the tourniquets, and it was just falling back on my training. There was a divine intervention that guided me through that day.
Detective Asper will retire in a few weeks, but first he'll travel to Washington, D.C. to take part in National Police Week, honoring the lives of the 3 brothers he lost that day. Their names have been added on the same panel at the National Law Enforcement Memorial. And we just want to say thank you to Detective Asper for being so courageous to share that very deeply personal story with us.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm asked a lot of times in this profession, you know, how hard is it to talk to people on their worst day? And I'm also asked, you know, why do you even do it? But this story right here just shows why. I mean, he reached out, and for him, this was very therapeutic.
He said this was a step in his healing process. He was very clear about that. He and I spoke for 90 minutes, all told, on camera. So what you saw was, you know, just a very small portion of the story that he told me about what happened that day. But one of the things that he said that really stuck with me is that people are nervous to talk to him about this. They are awkward around him. They don't want to dredge up bad memories, but they have questions, and he totally understands that. And so in many ways, this is a way for him to rip that Band-Aid off, tell his story publicly all at once, and to let people know, you can talk to me. It's okay.
You talk about bravery. I mean, watching him relive what happened, talking about, you know, he thought he was going to get shot in the back. Clearly, he's a man of faith, but he had to be afraid.
I'm certain that he was. He was stationed. He said to me, I'm not the I'm the oldest guy on the team, and I'm not the most agile, so I always took the back. And he said that afternoon was no different. He was around back when he heard the gunshots, and he knew he had to make his way up to the front of the house. And he said the whole time that he was coming up to the front of the house, he had this overwhelming sense that he was going to be shot in the back. But he didn't have a choice, and his training kicked in, and he kept going, and he was able to stop the shooting eventually.
You know, we covered this story for many, many days while it was unfolding, and we were watching all the images, but hearing it from this survivor, this hero, hearing him in his own words describe what happened, the fact that I still remember the 2 of us were sitting here listening to those bagpipes and talking about how significant that was, and to hear him talk about the bagpipes and that he would be happy never to even hear them again, and the fact that he went to that funeral, took 1 day off, and was right back at work on Monday.
Yes, and and we can't forget that this also came just a few months after a West York Borough police officer was shot and killed. This county suffered unimaginable loss. And I think this entire family of police officers in this area all felt this unimaginable loss over the past year. So, when he says he doesn't care if he ever hears bagpipes again, I get it. It's been a horrific year. And I want to point out that, not all wounds are physical. And this is something he admits he is going to have to deal with and live with for the rest of his life.
Bravery, just a true hero. It was just incredible to hear his story, so powerful. Great job with that interview, and we're just also thankful that he is still around to tell the story.
Absolutely. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eric Finkenbinder from ABC 27, and we're excited to announce the new ABC 27 News Plus app. Live stream newscasts or watch content on demand. This is different than the ABC 27 app on your smartphone. You can check this out at home, and it's very easy to use. With a Fire Stick, go to the homepage, scroll down to search. From there, enter ABC 27. Move over to the apps, and there we are. Click the icon and install. It's just that easy.